Right. Does it work? Yeah. My face. Hello. It's my face. How's everyone? Let's hide the microphone a little. How's everyone doing? It is the 3rd of June. It is June, yeah? It is the 3rd, yeah, that's good. I was getting a bit confused with dates earlier when I was chatting to Zin, because she was ill on Monday. In my notes, it was the 2nd of June. So I just got very confused what day it was. Hope everyone's doing well. We've got Alpha 4.2.0 turning up at some point. It looks like it might be real soon. CIG implying that it will be coming out, yeah, real soon. Maybe end of this week, maybe the week after, maybe the end of June. Who knows? We don't 100% know, unfortunately. I don't even 5% know. This month. But it's getting into a much better state than it was. It's actually very playable. They just need to sort out a lot of performance and that sort of stuff. Crashing and sort of service connect wise, didn't really notice any of that. It crashed once in the last week. And maybe the servers have crashed like once or twice, but have come back up. So they have repaired. But yeah, giant sandworms. At least the irradiated version of the Apex Relicar is in this build, and it's part of the main mission set. I think that's pretty cool, pretty exciting. Those of you that want to do a big game hunter raid thing, that's exactly what's going on. Sort of balance for 4 people. I don't know how PvP orientated that area is going to be when you're fighting and after you fought the worm. It's sort of interesting thing, but there's loads of stuff in the new patch with the ICTs, the ATLS combat suits, defend missions, tons of balance. Light blades are in shops as well. The Atlas Geos in shops. There's quite a bit in that. Lots of irradiated animals. Loads of new event stuff and new areas, the SD facilities. Yeah, so the event stuff, very, very cool. Be interesting to see how that evolves over time, and is that going to be in permanently? Because as far as I'm aware, that or something similar will be in the game permanently, but I have to wait and see. How's everyone doing? Hope you're all alright. On the YouTubes, we have a leaderboard now, which I believe is do with audience participation. A place for fans to stand out in the community. The top 3 get special badges in live chat. It resets every stream, so you can always try again. How do you get on the leaderboard? You'll need to collect experience, points or XP, send live chat messages, send super chats or super stickers. So in the future, we may do some stuff around that as well, because I think it's good promotion. Partly what I do with live streams is I try and make money. I mean, maybe not so much for the live stream, admittedly. I otherwise accept donations, but live stream stuff is more for me to try and connect with people and work out what people are talking about, why they're talking about it, and is there anything that I can do sort of video-wise? What should the next video be? Are there any hot topics? Anything that I should be addressing that I'm not? Any apologies that I may need to make? I made a video about Star Citizen hitting around $1 billion in funding, and that seems to be pretty accurate. It's over $1 billion from all sources if you include private investment, and almost $1 billion if you don't include private investment. And I said in the thumbnail, I think, or the title, the most expensive game I've ever made. Some people have said, well, actually, 2 games still pretty expensive, but and other people have said, well, GTA 6 is. I don't think we actually have figures on GTA 6 beyond leaks, and that would probably include its marketing budget as well. Star Citizen is interesting because it funded that amount, right? I'm interested to know how much GTA is funded. We know that Star Citizen spent quite a lot of its funding already. I'm a bit tubby at the moment. I hurt my back. Haven't been able to exercise, but I have been able to eat. So that's a bit of a problem. We'll sort that out. Sort that out. My back's almost on the mend. And hopefully next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend, there's a Barcelos up in Manchester, which I'm planning to attend because it's part of their Barcelos International World Tour. And typically there's some relatively juicy information that you'll be able to get from devs there. There'll be a good dev attendance. I believe Niku is definitely going to be there. Well, Niku has said he's going to be there to me, the community manager, and that also means that there'll be the new whatever special flair thing will be going out card-wise, like they've had banner cubes and photos before. I think this is something to do with Wicklow. If you'd like to ask a question during the live stream, question in brackets, ask away. Try and answer questions where I can. If I can't answer them, well, I'll answer them, but there might be an I reckon rather than a I know. Thoughts on the Valakar? When do you think the spawning of the normal ones may come in after 4.2 comes out? So we've got a radiated adult Valakar, and we've got the irradiated Apex Valakar. I'm not sure if these are... So they're certainly weaker than what we saw at CitizenCon, and that could be because it's irradiated. It could be injured or dying or whatever. Or it could just be the way they've balanced it now, right? Because it's balanced around 4 players fighting it currently, at least. They almost certainly will put the normal Valakar in game. And it will, yeah. Ha! Soon. It's quite possible that it'll appear in the 4.2.x branch. We do know there's a Frost Shard gameplay thing going on. It could be to do with bases, could be to do with fighting and raids, could be to do with a lot of stuff. What's been your best content that CIG have dropped this year so far? Oh. I've yet to actually fight the Valakar myself. Sort of excited about that. Did quite enjoy A Line of Mine. Probably in terms of missions and events, A Line of Mine. Probably. And I quite like what they're trying to do with the combat missions. Like, I want a constant ability to chill and grind. I'm not doing anything specific. And if they come up with a mission system and evolve what they currently got for that, but to a good degree, great. And then occasionally I will do a big eventy thing like A Line of Mine or Stormageddon. Stormbreaker. What do you think will come after 4.2? Anything coming this year, like a new system? So it's possible that Nyx will come later this year. They've been working on Nyx for quite a while. It's a relatively simple system. It sort of makes sense to me that Nyx will come in. Well, and there's a ton of other content that CIG have got planned that will turn up. Had rumours around, and we could even see, maybe not base building, but very early base building type stuff, like land claiming stuff and holding and defending land. Could have very basic base building. And things like the Perseus as well plan to turn up, right? At the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. And I'm quite excited for the Ictes. I mean, more of an evolution of mech suits in the future and variants, but we'll see. Had rumours around the new Asperia ship coming out. What's your thought on this board? And since you don't watch Monty Python anymore, I've found your general direction. So I just haven't watched it for a while. Part of my childhood and teenage years. Python very much so. So I don't know what new stuff we'll see at the Alien Week. So middle of June, Alien Week. A load of alien ships on sale. It was First Contact Day, International Bar Citizen World Tour stuff going on. You will see a load of new skins. We've seen an orange one in the newsletter. Also, there's implications that there's going to be a Prowler variant most likely turning up as well. That's partly because they've shown that skin off in a sneak peek, but also in the patch notes there was a reference to all the Prowler series, or all variants of the Prowler getting an update, which leads on to probably going to be releasing a new Prowler. For the last 12 to 18 months or so, we've had quite a lot of game added. Pyro, capital ships. Okay. It just proves pretty exciting. Now, incoming boss fights. What is the big element you're looking forward to the most? So, dynamic economy and base building's pretty big for me. But it's really when it's all coming together. That's the main thing for me. When everything comes together, no more resets. Then I play Star Citizen a lot more than I am. I cover Star Citizen news. I play Star Citizen a bit. I play it when I get invited to do an orc event or something. And I test out the new stuff and talk about it and talk about what other people are talking about. I sort of regurgitate a lot. And I'm really interested in the Star Citizen. I'm not the best pilot in the world, and the sort of flight model keeps on changing. I'm probably one of the more excited people about Star Citizen. I genuinely believe CIG are going to make a great game with Squadron and Star Citizen. I do believe there are problems with the project occasionally, and any project, but always worth talking about and looking at and going critically, this is bad, this is good. Flight blades, selling them, I'm gating them even for a little bit. Kind of bad, right? But CIG responding to that and trying to resolve it to a degree. Good, and yeah, I mean, it's good, and they had to, right? But I trust CIG. I like a lot of CIG devs that I know. I've got friends at CIG. Got ex-CIG devs as friends. Any news about wandering freely around cities like Area 18 and Lawville beyond the current areas? Thanks. So they are building some interior stuff, and there's going to be more landing zones on a lot of these planets. And around cities, they are expanding that to a degree, but I don't know much more than that. And obviously, you saw some stuff at CitizenCon, like with the depths and some of the FPS PvE areas they've got planned. When is Alien Week? So we know that. So it'll be around the middle of June. Okay, I think last year was around the 14th. It's typically around between the 14th and the 16th it starts. We've got a Bar Citizen World. So on the 14th, I believe, of this month, we've got the sort of First Contact Day or the Bar Citizen World Tour, whatever, starting. So we'll have to wait and see. We should find out next week what the date's going to be. International Bar Citizen Weekend between 14th and 15th of June. So this is basically to celebrate First Contact Day and Alien Week. Sort of coincides with normally. Have you done the Asgard? Yes. If so, do you believe its performance, its speed, and turn rate will be nerfed? It will be balanced. Everything like that will get balanced and tweaked. Seems very maneuverable for its size. And everything's going to get huge changes for Amp-Strike Flight anyway, with control surfaces and lots of balance changes coming in. I think it's supposed to be relatively maneuverable. That's one of the sort of benefits over a Hercules or whatever. But it may well get nerfed to a degree. An update. I've heard of some rumors that there's an update version of the Classic Wing Commander pack that might be returning for IE. Any ideas of that true? No, I don't know. Expect a big IAE this year with CIG's marketing team going a bit wild, as well as lots of stuff they can do in game that's going to be cool. They had the best May and best event on record just gone with Fleet Week, and they're going to be keen to beat that at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. We do not know when 4.2.0 is going to go live. As far as I'm aware, they haven't posted any release candidates yet. The last one. But yesterday, we've still got them doing tweaks. We've still got them working through the known issues list. We don't know. We don't know the release intention for the patch. It looks like it could be ready as early as at the end of this week. But I'm, at the moment, guessing they're going to release it the week after, so that it coincides more with Alien Week. And then any new stuff that comes out with that as well. That'd be my expectation. I think the term is slop tuber, but I do it for Star Citizen. I think I'm occasionally critical. Like the problem is that I have bias that I genuinely believe CIG are going to make a game, and I'm excited for those games. And when you've got that bias, I'm sort of more critical on the stuff that I don't like and the things that I see them do going, eh. But I do also believe that you should be able to vent your frustration and talk about anything critically, or go, oh, I don't like that, or no, I've got to worry. You're allowed to be concerned and worried about things and to talk about that, as long as you're, not a monster. I don't know how much money CIG spends on marketing, but it feels like any YouTube video on Star Citizen is an ad for Star Citizen. So I've noticed that as well. It would be interesting to know how much they do. They should probably tweak some of their settings so that there's less in the way of Star Citizen ads on Star Citizen videos. Or at least entrenched Star Citizen videos. Like, it's unlikely that a Star Citizen ad is going to convince anyone watching my videos to get Star Citizen that hasn't already got Star Citizen. It might. I'm interested to see the conversion rates. I don't know for sure. Well, are there any snickerings of what the next skill or trades or future gameplay that will be next? Data, science, drones. So we know they're working on drones to a degree because they need them for base building. And we know they actually are working on base building. So I believe it's my expectation that data and bounty hunting will be, data bounty hunting and hacking will be the sort of ones that they focus on in the not distant future. But if you look at Star Citizen 1.0 on the roadmap, it's mostly going to be that and stuff that leads to that they work on. Go, why have they released a Sandworm? Because they were already working on the Sandworm. That's content. That's not a feature. Yeah, I do believe they're also working on the Apollo at the moment, and the Apollo could turn up at the IE, but they're probably going to want its drones. They don't need its drones. They probably want them. Any guess on the June ship of the month for subs? Something alien-y? Probably the Prowler. That'd be my expectation. With this year being focused on performance over adding gameplay and features, do you think... Well, gameplay features. Do you think that new loops like data running will be pushed past the 1.0 release? I think that data running... I don't think it's too far away. Like, I think we could see it next year. Genuinely, I don't think that bounty hunting, data running, some of the stuff like that, I think that they can go, well, actually, this isn't a huge feature. We can get it in. They're obviously going to be keen to get the dynamic economy stuff out in lots of different forms. Engineering as well. So engineering is going to be the next thing, and likely turn up in the tech preview during June. You know when hangars will get a revamp to include more room to keep medium or larger ships between ASOP requests? So I'm expecting much more custom hangars before we get base building. And I am expecting more custom hangars later this year. But we'll see. They've started to do more and more stuff for it. So they've got, to a degree, you can place stuff in hangars now. And it saves your day, not between patches, but it saves optimizations of your home hangar. You've got being able to bring up the Atlas in cargo elevators, freight elevators now, and they are tweaking that more and more. If they want to do a run for base building, they probably want you to be able to, customize these locations a bit more, potentially get better facilities there or different types of hangar, maybe. That is more of an educated, I reckon. Maybe I've heard a little bit, but some of the rumors I hear from CIG or some devs that I know, I'm not sure how much of a priority some of this stuff is, where they are in the chain. But yes, I do think hangars will get a revamp. Do you think they will add social elements? Talked about CitizenCon, org stuff, party stuff. So we know to a degree that's being worked on. We also know some of it's quite heavy in UI work, and the UI team is one of the most stressed teams, as in they've got loads of work to do. They are quite a big bottleneck for a lot of stuff. I do think it is a priority to get some of the social and org stuff in game, though. Just want to say thank you for compressing the Star Citizen info they put out to be more consumer friendly. Bite for my brain to handle that. No worries at all. I sort of made content that I enjoy consuming. Do you think weather is a hint that CIG might begin to drip feed Planet Tech V5 to go? They have been, and yes. So Genesis and new biomes and the new Planet Tech stuff, they will be adding to game in from patch to patch, a little bit more, little tweaks, and sometimes a bit more than others. Do you think we might get the Ironclad this year? So it has been suggested that the Perseus is coming out at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. I would love to see the Ironclad at the IAE, and there is a non-zero chance of it. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to get some water because I'm thirsty. We'll be right back. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to my back not hurting at all anymore. Oh. Where are we? CIG has so many ways to make money, yet they choose to add pay to win. What do you think about that? Can you describe some ways that they can make money without it being pay to win? Also, I'm interested in your definition of pay to win. So for me, so pay to win has to have an element that you can't obtain in game. So if paying for convenience, for example, as long as that convenience isn't so sort of like broken that you're just like, yeah, you can get it in game, but it will take you 1 billion hours. You could argue that with capital ships, admittedly. But as long as it's obtainable in game and it's reasonable to obtain it in game, it's not pay to win, from my point of view. And the original plan was for them to sell in-game money. In almost every way they could generate money, not every way, but most ways, would, for the long term, be a level of pay to win based on someone's interpretation of it. But yeah, they could sell skins, they could have a better subscription system, but again, what you get for that subscription without it being pay to win. What else have we got? So, the Idris is a frigate carrier. No, it doesn't carry frigates. It's a frigate-sized carrier. It is meant to be run with a wing of fighters and them to operate from it. Although, especially the M and anything that's got been upgraded with a spinal mount, the nose mount, it's a very powerful warship in its own right. So, a load of the larger capital ships are going to also be carriers. The Idris is relatively carriery. It's not a Bengal. It's not a Pegasus. I think there's a little bit of debate exactly what role it fills, but it sort of depends on your loadout for it, right? And what you're running with it. You could run it as logistics or even like a support ship almost. Run it as a mining op, kinda. This year being focused on performance over adding gameplay features, you think loops like data running will be pushed? And we talked about that already. About hangers. 3-month pay to win period is still 3 months. So it's an exclusivity period, which is part of their monetization. I will defend that because the CIG need to make money by doing that now. That is their monetization model. And at the moment, 3-month exclusivity period, I don't care about, right? Because the game is in alpha. Now, would I care about it after 1.0's released? That is an interesting question. Probably not. So I advise people, look, if you love a ship and you've got a load of money, feel free to buy it. But I would advise that most people start the game with just a single starter ship and get everything in game. Now, if they sell new ships after the game's released, as in new concepts, entirely brand new ships, I probably still would be okay with them having an exclusivity period, as long as they're not broken, as long as those ships just aren't the best, right? Because the other assumption is you're going, well, you get access to that, and it's better than what I have. So there is obviously a conflation between what's new and what's best. And yeah, obviously CIG gets a bit lambasted sometimes, and rightly so, for a new ship being very powerful and then getting nerfed later. I think that's a reasonable worry. And I think that's a reasonable definition of pay to win. It does not the same definition I would use for pay to win. I mean, quite easily, I'll say it's got pay to win elements, right? But I think Star Citizen, even with the way they need to fund it, or the way they do monetize it. Need to is probably a little bit of a strong word. But the way they do fund it, I think it'd still be a great game in the long term. But I do not want it to be storefronts, Citizen. I do not want it to be more driven by that. I do not want people to literally just be able to outbuy other orgs. But we'll have to see how it all plays out, right? Because I'm very much in the opinion like, no, it can be good. It can play kind of like Eve does or did. Money can be a factor, but it's going to be time and skill that's going to be the main factor there. It's an interesting one though, right? And we'll talk more about it as they evolve their plans. But so for me, it's when they try to sell land claims, when they gate flight blades and new components behind a paywall for like a month or so. That to me is too money grabby, nickel and dimey, or too greedy. Because I don't mind CIG making money, but as I said, I don't want everything to just be like, you can buy your way around that, just spend real money on it. Taking away something from the game that it might be more convenient for others, but you don't want it to be overly monetized. And the overly monetized thing I haven't really fully defined. At the moment, it's just a feel, but I can define it in the future. I need to give more examples and actually think about it. And I've had over a decade to think about it. Yeah, but, lazy. It's not my job to defend Star Citizen. Make out your own opinions on it, right? I like it. Don't like all of it all the time. What else have we got? Do you think we'll see the tech preview branch of engineering gameplay open up this month? Yes, I do. I think after either this month or next month. After 4.2 is released, I think tech preview of engineering. I think it's an interesting conversation to have about the pay to win and what people consider pay to win and predatory monetization and stuff that is and isn't, and people's different definitions of pay to win, because everyone's very different, I found. And people's win conditions very different, but yeah, again, it comes down to definition, right? I mean, some people just want to play Squadron 42. Nix by the end of the year, potentially. I think so. I think that is a possibility. It's almost certainly something they'll show off a lot at CitizenCon this year, and I think they'd be pushing towards that at the end of the year or the beginning of next. That's my expectation. I remember I mentioned years ago of Star Citizen app for mobiles. Has that been permanently shelved out? So I think... So they've been testing... the integration and evolution of messaging in and out of game. And I think that you sort of can do that on Spectrum on your mobile now. I think that maybe that'll evolve. So the web platform will be probably be the way you do it on your phone. They might have their own app. I do not know for sure, but they are evolving the web platform and integration of it with Star Citizen, which would lead me to believe that they could do an app if they wanted, or you could just do everything from your phone still without an app, but it would give the same functionality. Yeah, Flight Blades, they were basically, they talked about them at Fleet Week, and they went, you can buy them as part of like the Fleet Week package for a ship. So you get a skin and some other stuff, some like clothing and stuff from the complete week, and a flight blade for a particular ship that you want. It was not all ships, a couple of flight blades. The one that gives you agility and the one that gives you forward extra speed. And then they're relatively minor sort of boosts, but they were effectively gated by money. The problem is that they could have easily just gone, yeah, we're selling these packs, cool, because they bundle them as a pack, basically. But you can also try them out for free during Fleet Week. Cool! People would not have cared. But they sort of went, but it's gated for, we assumed 3 months, but it was actually went, oh no, we're going to release it next patch to shops. But that might have been because, you know, the OG got pushed a little bit. And they did say that they will be changing the open monetization stuff in the future. Basically, what I read from that. But I think it's always something worthwhile to remember that CIG's marketing team, and not to put all the blame on them, but CIG's marketing team will try and monetize everything they can, make as much money as they can, both short, mid, well, all short, mid, and long term. Just sort of bear that in mind. If someone goes, your boss goes to you, let's come up with some more ideas for marketing for stuff to make some money. Cool. Some of the ideas you're going to come up with are going to be pretty monstrous. And if no one stops you, no one pushes back on you, you're going to do them. And then you're going to keep on trying more and more. That's the way I see it. So the community going, no. What are you doing? This is monstrous. Because sometimes people don't know what's appropriate or not. Some people have very different mentalities, right? It's not to defend it. I'm totally against the over-monetization of things. But again, down to definition. And also, I'm fine with stuff being sold in-game. They want it to a degree, but again, not for storefront citizen. If you move, Nix will come in next year. Does this affect your projection for 1.0? And when do you feel... I think they could have... So, it would either be at the end of this year or at the beginning of next year, I'd expect Nix. I think that they could have 1.0 out for end of 2028. I was thinking about this in more detail the other day. One of their MPUV ones. So I think it's because they've probably done it for a load of the Squadron 42 ships. And it just so happens that the MPUV was part of that. Why is it bad that they make expensive things you can later buy in game? Why is it bad they can make cheap things you can later buy in game? Do all who profit from complaining always cry? So I do. I'm okay with them to a degree selling stuff. I just don't want them to sell everything. I don't want it to be a game where you can just buy everything and you're encouraged to do that. I do want it to be very much sort of like you can be competitive and have a load of fun without putting any extra money in beyond a starter ship. And I do think that if you let some companies go too crazy with monetization, you could say it's a fallacy, it's a slippery slope into monetizing more and more and more. That's my issue with it. Due to the change of Apollo Medivac area concept, what do you think they will look like? More like Idris Med Bay or more like... So obviously, I believe it's still going to be modular and you'll be able to change it. I'd like to see it look like the Idris Med Bay, now that you've said that, thinking about it. I liked the way that looked. No, I know you're not being overly critical of me, Sketch. Don't worry. I was just sort of trying to answer your question. But I can only... So a lot of this stuff is partly unformed or isn't a strong opinion either way. I think what it is that I don't care about it enough at the moment beyond, well, I just don't want to get too bad. And I'm not really in a... I've defended what I believe CIG are doing for monetization before to a degree, or gone, it's fine to a degree as long as it doesn't go into the extreme pay-to-win category and make the game bad. And I think, obviously, I have my bias of, I think CIG are going to make a good game. Yeah, they could try stuff like Nick's in the tech preview as well. Yeah, the Nick's playground. What else have we got? Thank you very much for all the kind words. Appreciate it. Do you think the ATLS is a good sign? Bigger vehicles will fit on the raft eventually. Oh, so yeah, people messing around with the ATLSs and the raft and stuff, right? So it's interesting, right? Squadron 2, what's it? The HS will be released alongside Squadron 42. I don't appear to have Squadron 42 in my hands. I think I would like to see all appropriate vehicles to be able to be mounted on, especially the flatbed stuff, like the raft. Anything that's appropriate size should be able to go on that, in my opinion. I appreciate all the kind words. Thank you. What are we talking about there? Never knew you streamed. Well, I do. I tried to stream on Mondays at like anywhere between 2 to 4 p.m. UTC-ish. But sometimes it's a Tuesday because I've been lazy or I'm tired or something. That's a good point. Yeah, so I mean, I don't need to give a disclaimer. I don't care. But yeah, obviously people buying concept ships, you get that ship's not available in game yet. You get a loaner. For example, I've got a Javelin, but Javelin's not in game for players to fly. It's sort of in game, but it's not for the player one isn't. So I get an Idris in the meantime. Not an Idris M though, which makes me sad. It's an Idris P. The video in the background's a load of different stuff. Some of it's from CitizenCon, some of it's engine demo, some of it's in gameplay that was in the live I captured. So this is a load of the ship stuff from CitizenCon 2024. I'm not sure what you're replying to, Terminus. This not play to win. A potential power creep, but not anything that was going to make you win over the other guy. Also, they were going to sell in-game anyway. Blade and skin combo was a good way to raise funds for a crowdfunded game. Yeah. I just would have wanted them to also allow you to get it for free at Fleet Week, try it for free, and have it in in-game shops at the same time as a component. The component stuff, I don't really want to be gated because, yeah, to me that feels too money grabby. And again, that's very much feels over reels. They could have done everything else they did without selling the blades and weapon kits for real money, or selling them in game at the same time. But it's hard to argue with, sometimes with the marketing of the game and them generating money, because they made more money this May than they've made any May ever, and it's the most successful event they've had ever. Yeah, a load of people are really enjoying the irradiated Valkyr fight. Zun and I shall hopefully be able to get it done this week. But we shall see. Really want to film it rather than do it. We want to do both. We want to film it at one point and then do it at one point. Maybe we could just request footage from other people. That might be a good idea. Wiley Type, thank you so much. Wiley Type, an ex-CIG dev back in the day. Really excited really exciting time for the channel and the project. Glad to be here. In your opinion, what was it in need of a gold standard update? What ship is most in need of a gold standard update? Constellation, the Reclaimer all sort of need one, right? Probably though, starter ships. So Aurora desperately need one in my opinion. But really you want a little standard update for like the Avengers and stuff. Starter ships are going to be pretty common for a lot of people. We want to get them into a good state, right? I want Squadron 42 now. So it's more of a joke that me and Zin make, which is Squadron 42 must have released because I've got an interest. Like, so just us taking the piss. Any word on when Pyro will get its cellular flare? No. So I believe it's part of the 1.0 roadmap at the moment. They'll put it in at some point. Don't have any. Don't have any confirmation of exactly when that'll be. My lights went. What else do we have? Blinded myself now by looking up at my light. Do you think we're ever going to conquer a snap point for an ATLS? What for placing it? Yeah. I think you'll get that for all ground vehicles, potentially all ships to a degree, so that they can land on landing pads more effectively, and then be moved. Well, once the 1.0 is launched, concept shells should stop. I'm okay if they continue to fund that way. I'm interested to see how they fund beyond 1.0. I'd still be okay with that, as long as they don't keep on bringing out ships that are just more powerful than previous ships, right? You go, haha, this is a new ship and it's the most powerful ship in the game. You can buy it with real money, get exclusive for a few weeks. I'd like to be able to earn them in game at the same time. Do you think that once 1.0 is launched, that's what I was just talking about, the amount of grey markets and people selling in-game items, do you think that players selling ships, items, and opening shops should be a higher priority? There's a lot of economy stuff coming. I think it was a priority, and I think they deprioritized it for some reasons. I think next year may be a year of economy-based things. Brave Kruger medium ship. Yeah. So I sort of want to see all of the ship brands represented, the manufacturers represented in lots and lots of different ways, and anything that you can think of there being a whole ship-wise and vehicle-wise, I'd like them to. And we do know they're going to be building some bigger vehicles as well. We're measuring this functional now, right? To a degree. It's not dynamic yet, but it's there. We've got meshing working. Maybe not all the time as efficiently as they want. We'll have to see how the Star Lancers and some of the other ships sort of shake out. It's going to keep on changing as well. Yeah, there's no lottery-esque mechanics in Star Citizen for like loot boxes or anything. Um, I'm a sucker for a load of mechanics like that. I'm sort of, I'll be like, oh yeah, yeah, I'll put like a fiver in a week for skins or whatever for a game or whatever, quite happily. I was doing that for like Overwatch and boxes or whatever games I was playing at the time. I can't remember. Do that with finals. Finals, there's too many cheaters in it. I appreciate all the comments. Thank you. Love videos. Bye. Thank you. Appreciate it. Uh, the whole, even the sort of CCU game is all marketing, and from my point of view, the CIG, even if you're getting like a ship a lot cheaper you would normally, they've still made $400 from you buying like a capital ship, or however you made it, got it cheaply, right? I think players want to feel unique. I don't understand why they don't release tons of cosmetics into the store. They will eventually. There's obviously there's a lot of focus on other stuff, but there's a little bit more focus on cosmetic stuff and armors and skins than there has previously been. But I think that in the future you'll have a load more focus on that, right? Once 1.0 comes out, potentially they can go, you know what? More customization is more good, and we can potentially sell some of these interesting skins. Hello, hello. With the MPUV being modular, you think we'll be able to add quantum pod to the bottom to enable interplanetary travel? I don't think so. I don't think that's it is very much a snub parasite. It is not supposed to. I mean, the Pisces, the only sort of snub that's got a quantum. Customizable ships for paints when I think they showed them off at CitizenCon 2015, right, or something like that, many years ago. Obviously, they've got a system where you can apply skins. I would like much more customizable painting of my ships. I hope that's going to still be a thing. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so we know they had a system that looked like it was hex code, or was hex very similar to that, for painting. But right. Hello, hello. Greetings, greetings. I'm not going to be streaming for much longer. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to buy a real quick. I've gone through like 3 bottles of water. Oh. Hi. Hey. Oh, gave away 7 Drake Krakens at Bar Citizen. They were just quality prints of the painting I did. You know, that's cool still. You will be able to buy many a lamp in the future for your base or hangar. Yeah, I thought it was always quite interesting the way they evolved the sort of monetization and store credit system and buying stuff and the increase of ships' prices over time, right? Like the Carrack starting at what, like $250? Now is it like 650? The Banning Merchantman, for example, I think it was $250 when it was first sold as well. Like that's probably going to shake out as being like a $900 ship or something eventually, right? Yeah, cosmetic stuff. I want lots of different symbols, lots of different shapes, and 50% of my uh, ship this color, 50% that color. Lots of different sort of set. Have it checkered or whatever. Just lots of different set things and have lots of different colors. But I don't want freeform painting. That would be mad. And TTP would be far too high, too low, often, too often. It'd be interesting to find out because obviously, like the Idris was recently sold for $1,900. I'd be interested to know how many Idrises are owned by people now, and how many they sold at Fleet Week. I may poke CIG to see if they will give me that data. Oh, you met one of the designers for the Chinese New Year envelopes. Nice. I don't know who that is actually. Huh. Yeah. I mean, always be tempted to put something interesting on a ship, and then you get Star Citizen being, a political space, which you maybe don't bring into your space game when you're flying around. Especially when other people will come there for escapism, right? So, main thing to break friendships. uh, and obviously TTP. And then other people just being incredibly offensive. So buying ships is a good investment. They appreciate in value. It depends what you do with them, right? Um, you can just get it in game, right? You can just get it in game. I've met people that have done sort of sales and stuff of ships through like grey market as a business. A good few years ago now, I met a guy that had basically bought his house with the amount of money he'd made on the grey market, and I was like, oh, cool. It was really interesting. But we don't know how CIG are going to handle the grey market in the future, right? They might entirely outlaw certain things, like you might not be able to trade in certain things, you might not be able to move, sell ships or move ships around or whatever. And they might go, no, entirely outlawed, bannable, bannable. Because I think, like in the UK and stuff, you are technically able to, validation needed, sell your accounts to stuff because they're owned property that you can sort of sell. But in other jurisdictions, they're not. So CIG go, no, you can't transfer accounts, but some places in the world allow you to transfer account. It's all interesting, right? Interesting to see how that shakes out in the future. I don't think CIG have a huge problem with the grey market currently. in the future, gold sellers might become a problem. They sort of ruin a lot of games, or at least produce bad actors, because there are people that will try and steal stuff to make money. There's people that will and like hack and that sort of stuff, that use exploits excessively. That's an interesting one as well. But Alpha 4.2, that's coming out soon. Potentially end of this week, more likely end of next week, but sometime this month at the very least. You've got your big Apex a la carte, at least in the radiated version of it. Some cool event stuff with, I would say Stormageddon again, Stormbreaker, and those new areas. A load of updates, a load of balance changes, some new mission stuff, the ICT, ICTS combat suits, and a load more. I'm going to have a quick look to see if there's any other little questions. Do the 2948 digital goodies pack really sell for $500? Some, well, I mean, people might be listing, so people might list them for that sort of amount. I'm not sure if those sort of things sell. Might to a collector, I don't know. Right. Almost certainly you'll be able to. One of the things for 1.0 is player economy stuff and player-to-player sales. So assumedly you'll be able to sell ships and everything. And CIG did say that when you sell a ship, the lifetime insurance follows the hull, things like that. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, CIG did say remote access for locking and unlocking doors and ramps and stuff with the mobiGlas on your ship and stuff is a thing that they will be looking at. I think that's one of the again, they said UI is very strained and it's partly a UI thing, but that is something we should see in the future as well. Anyway, I am going to dash off. I'll see what else is streaming and recommend a channel. Feel free to click on any of the links below, become a member with the join button, watch my other videos, that would help out. Also feel free to donate or become a Patreon, whatever. It all helps the channel. Even just being here and chatting, that really helps the channel as well. Are they going to fix tanks bouncing around stuff? So they are working on some improved physics and server tech stuff for ground vehicles. I know. I have no idea when it's actually going to be released into the game. I'd hope real soon. So Carrack, we know they're going to be making some updates to it because there's supposed to be like modular sections and that needs some tweaks. But we don't know sort of when. That's true of a load of ships. They will need to bring it up to gold standard. All ships are going to get a little bit of an update for engineering, stuff like that. Yes, thanks so much for watching. Bear with me 1 second. I am moving more and more over to YouTube for streaming and stuff. I'm going to send you over to English. No. I might send you over to Maya because I love the boy. Yeah, you can have some Maya. I love him. Slash raid Maya. Give the boy some love. Right. Thank you so much for watching. Genuinely appreciated. You need to contact me or you've got any other questions to ask, you can get me at contact@boredgamer.co.uk or on my Discord. Hope to see you there. Thanks so much for watching. You have a great day. Love you. Bye.